Hey everybody, Tom Lowery here. Tonight I'm going to talk about fishing the Senko. Fishing the standard weightless Texas rig Senko in the springtime. My favorite time of year. It's March here in San Diego. Fish are spawning, fish are cruising the shallow water. Now it's time to fish shallow. And the Senko is a great bait to use. So you're going to have these fish that are locked on beds in full spawn mode, but you're also going to have lots and lots of fish that are just cruising the shallows. They're just sunning themselves, exploring where they're going to bed up. They're staging out in a little bit deeper water, some of these fish, and a lot of these fish are bigger fish. The fish that are on beds, those small males, you know, they're fun to catch, but if you want bigger fish, better quality bites, you got to go a little bit outside the beds, and that's where this bait can be very effective. I fish this bait on a standard 7-foot 5-power rod, okay, 15-pound fluorocarbon. Pretty much that's my standard setup, is 15-pound fluorocarbon and a 7-foot 5-power rod, and I rig it weightless Texas rig. Sometimes I pin the point of the hook if I'm fishing really brushy stuff, and sometimes I expose it a little bit. Any standard green color, I mean watermelon, green pumpkin, this right here, this is baby bass. Our lakes have clear water, so I typically make a pretty long cast. I like to make long casts with this bait, parallel with the bank, and 90% of the time, for me, 90% of the time the fish is going to eat it at the end of the cast. I throw the bait out there, I make my cast, it hits the water. Always want to watch your line when you're fishing this bait, because it is light. It is a light bait. You can cast it a far distance, but you want to really watch your line and keep an eye on it. And say you're fishing 4 to 6 feet of water, or 3 to 6 feet of water. You watch your line, and your bait's going to sink down there, and eventually, it's not going to take long. It's going to hit the bottom. 90% of the time, you're going to be bit. You're going to be bit by now. You're going to get bit at the end of that cast. If there's a fish within 5 feet from the bait, it's going to swim over and eat it. And if you're not bit, what I typically do, after I know it's hit the bottom, I'm just gonna lift up real slow, and I'm gonna lift it up off the bottom so it's more in the middle of the water column, and just start reeling really slow and just almost like swimming it. But I mean really slow. So I make my cast, I'm watching my line, and it hits the bottom, and we're talking, you know, shallow water, 4 feet, 2 feet, 3 feet, and if I'm not bit, I just kind of lift up and I just reel a little bit, maybe stop, I kind of lift up, and I just kind of swim it and just kind of drag it back only for about 10 feet or so. And if I'm not bit by then, or I might run into a bush and maybe stop it and see if I can get a bite there. And if I'm not bit by then, I just reel it in and make another cast. I used to think this technique was boring. A lot of people do. A lot of people can't stand fishing it. But when you see the quality bites, the quality fish that you can catch with this bait, it really does. It really does catch nice fish. I think it'll change your mind. So again, I fish it slow, I fish it shallow. It's a great bait to use this time of year, and just keep an eye on your line, keep a tight line at all times. And if you don't get bit in the first 10 feet, wind it in and make another cast. I hope that helps, and please check out my website for more videos and more information on the trips that I do, tomlowryfishing.com. Thanks for watching.